30 more seconds and we'll get going. And again, last minute chance or last chance to get those advocates on so they can join us. We'll go ahead and start at like 15 seconds. Got people watching from all over the US and Canada, it looks like, or I didn't see any Canadians yet, did I? Okay. All right, well, first of all, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the Getting Started Right training. This is something we're doing a little bit different. Lynsey, you're welcome to turn off your camera while I'm talking if you want to be able to chill and relax, or you can leave it on, whatever you want to do, right? And but just wanted to really quick introduce myself. My name is Darin. I've got some special guests that will be on here briefly a little bit in a few minutes of the training. They're going to do the second part with me. But for those that are maybe wondering, first of all, congratulations on making a great decision to join an awesome company. As you can tell from the chat, you've got an amazing group of people that are very encouraging, welcoming, and it's like a big family. And so you've made a great decision to go out there and do something. And that's important because, you know, most people at age 65, 97% of the people are broke. And that was before we went through what we just went through in the world. And so there's never been a better time to be in this profession, in my opinion, because before network marketing, direct sales, it's over 100 years old. It's a $180 billion profession. There's over 100 million people participating. And that, again, was before COVID, before quarantine. And in the past, you know, you really have to share information with people and really sell them on, hey, listen, have you ever thought, or get them to think think of these things. Hey, look, have you ever thought about a plan B? Have you ever thought about maybe wanting to make some additional income from home? You know, what if you got laid off? What if your company went out of business? Well, now you never have to sell anyone on that ever again. Hey, have you ever thought about having the ability to work from home and make some additional income on a part-time, spare time basis? Well, now guess what? You don't have to sell that to anyone. Everyone that, even if they're thinking about, hey, look, I would love to have a plan B, a way to make some additional income, they used to have the option of, hey, I could go out and start a traditional business. So my wife and I, at one point, when we had our biggest team in network marketing, right, we had 2 franchises. There were frozen yogurt franchises, and we had employees in both of them, obviously, which we looked at as more of an adult daycare because it was nonstop. We didn't own the business owned us. We had 2 leases that were over 5 years, which with each lease, they were a little over 1,000 square feet. So they were really small stores back 7 years ago, right? But yet it was $4,000 some dollars a month. And we had employees that stole from us, and one of our locations got robbed, and we had machines that broke down and water coolers that broke down and air conditioners that broke down. And it was just, you know, people not showing up for work. It was crazy. And we spent $700,000 in those 2 businesses. So now, who do you know that wants to go out there and put their name on a lease for the next several years, not knowing what can happen? So the point is, you're in the right industry at the right time, and that's not just a hype, it's not just a pitch. Like I just gave you the facts behind that, right? Documentation beats conversation. You're in the right company because people now, they're looking to take control of their health. They're looking to do things to feel better and improve. And then now people are looking more than ever for a way to be able to, you know, have some supplemental income, work on a part-time, spare time basis to be able to do something for their future. So Jim Rohn says, work on your job full-time, but work on your fortune part-time. So it's the power of the part-time story. Most people, they start out their part-time. That's the best place to be, the power of the part-time story, because that way when you're sharing with people, look, I'm working on my job, I've got my family, but let me tell you what happened over the last several months with a few short hours a week. So my story, 28 years as a distributor before I left to become a trainer. During those 28 years, people hear about the money that I made. They hear about the teams that I built all over the world. They hear about me personally recruiting over 1,000 people, having thousands of personal customers, all those things that sound really good, and they're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful that I was very blessed to be able to achieve that. But what they don't hear is the story behind the story. It was the first 7 years where I failed. And I failed over and over and over again. I got to the point where, my wife and I have 5 kids, which I always tell people, be careful. That can happen if you work from home, right? You can have a bunch of kids from 27 now down to 12. But when the 21-year-old was born, we were bankrupt. We were on government assistance. We were on Medicaid. We were applying for food stamps. We had our car repossessed. I'm a college dropout. My wife's a college dropout. We live in a small town, little town in Virginia, 5 traffic lights, 1,500 people in the actual town. And I think it's 10,000 if you go out the many, many acres of farms and stuff. So here I was, went to the doctor for depression, because when you can't feed your kids, you can't support your wife, they repossessed your car, you're on Medicaid applying for food stamps, you couldn't make it through college, I couldn't keep a job, and you live in a small town where everyone knows your business more than you do. So they're all, talking about me behind my back about how many times I failed. I had very little to no hope. But then something changed. I had some people that came into my life, some mentors that taught me or looked at me not as how I was, but how I could be with my God-given potential. And it changed everything. And so it's really smart of you to join this today, because you don't have to spend years trying to figure out what to do right. We're going to shave months, if not years, off of your learning curve today, right? So I don't want you going through 7 years of what I went through. We want to shave that time off your learning curve. We got 2 of the top leaders in the company, right, that are going to jump on here, and they're going to share some of their top tips to get someone started the right way, because your success is our success. Okay, let me know if that sounds good in the chat. We want this an interactive chat, all right? And the great thing about this, I don't know about any of you, and this is not putting down a job. And by the way, one little tip, you don't criticize people for having a job. You want them to have a job, right, while they're working on this part-time. It's too much pressure if they do this full-time right off the bat. We want them to have fun with it and learn and enjoy the process. But at my jobs, the only time I got recognized is when I messed up, is when I did something bad. And then my boss and my manager never wanted me to have too much success, because then I started to threaten their position. So what I love about this business model, what I love about Green Compass, the only way that you ever get what you want is you have to help someone else get what they want, right? So I would have people go, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to make more money than you, Darin, even though you're in my upline. That's a great thing, right? Your leadership wants you to have more success than them, because it means they have a solid business. So that's my story. So we're going to go right into it. And I'm going to give you a bunch of bullet points. I'm going to speak pretty fast. We will do our best to try to get the recording. I'm not sure if they're going to get the recording out or not. I would encourage you to go back and watch this over and over and over again over the next several weeks, because you're going to get more and more every single week. So one of the days that changed my life was when I was sitting in the back of a room and I was having a pity party for myself. I was like, man, they must come from big cities. I live in a small town. They must have a college education. I have a lack of education. They must be great public speakers. I'll pass out in front of 5 people, right? And then when I heard someone train on, hey, listen, don't worry about taking big leaps. Can you get a little bit better today than you were yesterday? And I'm like, well, I can do that. Can you read 10 pages out of a good book a day? Well, for me, that's even hard, because my mind wanders, right? I've got a speed reading book that I bought, true story, several years ago. Still have not finished it. That's terrible, isn't it? But I go, even if I have to go back and reread it, I can read 10 pages out of a good book a day. Well, you go, well, how does that change my life? Well, that's about a book a month. So in 10 years, most people do not read 1 book a year. You've read 100 books, right? That compound effect. What if you're listening to 15 minutes of an audio every single day? You're on the way to work, and what you're doing is you've got your Drive Time University. You're listening to a podcast, a YouTube video, a Green Compass training. Well, 15 minutes of an audio a day. And that's what I tell people. Listen, just because I don't have a college education does not mean I'm not educated. I consume a lot of content every single day while I'm doing other things. So when I learned the compound effect, doing the simple things today, like you jumping on here today and someone else doesn't, are you going to see a massive difference today with your business? No. But you doing all of these little things, plugging into the weekly trainings, plugging into the groups, reading every day, working on you, over a period of time, your business, okay, because you're doing them today when they seem to make no difference at all in the act of doing them, good or bad. If we walk into McDonald's and you go, why is that person laying on the floor? And someone says they ate a Big Mac, French fries, and a milkshake, and they died immediately of a heart attack. We wouldn't do that again, right? But it wasn't that killed them that day. It was eating, and I know this is a bad visual, but you'll remember it. They slowly dug a grave with their teeth. It was a simple disciplines practiced over time, doing the right things, or the simple errors in judgment, and you give them time to compound. So what happens, you're doing this, someone else is not doing it, you don't see that big of a difference. And it's frustrating. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna be like, man, why am I doing all these things? I'm plugging in, I'm doing what they tell me to do, but I'm not seeing results yet. But over a period of time, your business does this, and their business does this. So that compound effect made a big difference in my life because finally I felt like I could do what they were telling me to do. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. 3 keys that you have to be successful. All right, Candace says yes. Michael says yes, 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 yes. Good. All right. Simple things, which, by the way, something for your notes. When it comes to building a successful business in Green Compass, basics are what work. Fancy does not work. It's the simple things on a daily basis that compound. How many of you have ever heard of the penny a day and doubling it for 30 days? Right? I was using that with my girls, my youngest girls. I'm like, look, I can give you what if I gave you $1 million or a penny a day and double it for 30 days? Which one would you choose? One of them said $1 million. And the other was like, okay, well, I'll just go with the penny a day. If you chose $1 million, you lost $9 or $10 million. And so they didn't had a hard time believing that. So I pulled out my phone, went to the calculator app, and I go 1 penny. The second day it's 2, then 4, then 8. 3 weeks in, you're like, holy moly, I made a mistake. I should have chosen the $1 million. But the last few days, those numbers compound in a big, big way. Go 30, 31 days. That's what happens when it comes to building your business. The penny a day. 3 keys to being successful or having success in Green Compass. Now, if you don't have these 3 things, there's really not a lot of hope, right? But the good news, you're on here, you're watching this live or on replay, which means you most likely have all 3. Number 1, you have to be coachable. Now, what does that mean? Coachable means leaving your background at the door. Like if you've been in sales like I had, you're going to have the hardest time because we like to talk too much. And when it comes to building a big business and getting customers, the less you say, the better off you are, right? I've had doctors that have come onto my team back, and I'm no longer a distributor. Just want to make sure you understand that. But when I had doctors that came onto my team that said, look, I am a doctor. I'm not going to do these simple little things you're telling me. And they failed fast, and they failed hard. Then I had other doctors that came on board. They go, look, I'm smart enough to know I went to school to be a doctor for all those years. This is different. Like if you go to McDonald's and you go to Hamburger University, right? You pay millions of dollars for McDonald's. You're not going to tell them, I know there are 30,000 McDonald's. I know that they have success, but I want to change the recipe, right? I want to change. I don't want the cheeseburger in a yellow wrapper. I don't want the fish sandwiches in a blue wrapper. When you face the counter at my McDonald's, I don't want the fry machine being on the left and the shake machine being on the right, right? And some of you were saying that right when I was saying it. You're eating McDonald's too much. No, we all know that. It's a system. McDonald's does not have the best hamburger. They have a system. So when you're here, these doctors that came on board, they're like, look, you tell me what to do, I'll do it. Massive success, hit the top of the company. So leave your background at the door. And most people say that they're coachable, which is code for as long as you tell me what I'm comfortable with and what I like to hear, I'm coachable. But if not, I'm not that coachable. Here's a tip. If it rubs you the wrong way, it was probably meant for you. Because the same thinking that got us to where we are is not the same thinking that's going to get us to the next level. The definition of insanity is doing what we've always done and expecting to get something different. So to get something different, we have to be willing to do something different. And everything that we do here is very simple. But it's also, it's easy to do, but it's easy not to do. Number 2, you have to be willing to work, right? It is called network marketing. not net play marketing, not when I won the lottery marketing. Anyone that tells you that you can get into a business and get rich doing nothing, let me just warn you, it's either illegal or they're lying to you, right? If it sounds easy, it's probably sleazy. You have to be willing to work. So for me, I was like, you know what? My job is hard. It's hard working a job. It's hard somebody else dictating what I'm worth, not me. It's hard somebody else telling me when I go on vacation, if I get vacation. It's hard me listening to somebody that's trying to predict how many days a year I'm going to be sick. And that job never had the ability to create the lifestyle that I wanted for my family. Building a business, it's hard, right? People are going to laugh at you. Not everyone's going to see what you see. That's okay. But remember, if you want something different than the masses, you have to be willing to do something different than the masses. And the masses at age 65, 97% are broke. So if we want something different, we have to do something different. But you have to be willing to put in the work, right? People laughing at you, people taking your products, people quitting on you, people going into witness protection. That's normal, okay? But it's worth it. Most people look for work. Wealthy people build networks. At your job, you exchange time for money. That's okay. That's the way that works. But J. Paul Getty, one of the first recorded billionaires in history, said, I'd much rather get paid 1% off 100 people's efforts than 100% effort of my own. Because he understood that if his income was dependent just on him, that's scary, and it's also limited. So you have to be willing to put in the work. Do not compare yourself to other people. It's very easy with their special guest that you're going to hear from in a few minutes. If you start comparing yourself to them, it's discouraging. But you can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10, chapter 15, chapter 20. Just know if they can do it, you can do it. Number 3, desire. Desire. How do you create desire? What creates a motivation? It's your motive for the actions. Reasons create rewards. Reasons come before rewards. So if I'm sitting down with you right now, somebody can put it in the chat. Why are you building Green Compass? Like, why are you here? What's most important to you right now in your life? If you say, well, Darin, I want to make an extra $300 a month, you're going to quit. I want to make an extra $500 a month. You're going to quit. You have to put an emotional attachment to the money. Let me give you an example. So we got freedom. And so, Devin, what I would say is freedom to do what? Helping people. Okay, so Kay, I would say, what would you like to do when it comes to helping people? Tracy, you said change lives. What I'm trying to do, the more specific you are, the clearer the picture of your future, the more goal-directed your actions are on a daily basis. The clearer the picture of your future, the more goal-directed your actions are on a daily basis. And let me tell you why you want to be specific, right? Like when I say specific, and I'm going to use a physical object just because it's a little bit easier. If you go, hey, I want a new car. That was one of my goals when I got started. I'm like, you know what? Our car, they repossessed it. Someone donated a car. It was an '89 Dodge Spirit. It was two-tone, blue and rust. And the transmission slipped. So we'd have to park way out in the parking lot, put it in drive or reverse, and you wait and you give it gas, and all of a sudden, boom, it would take off and it would throw our heads back and forward, and it was embarrassing, and we would laugh, but we parked way away from everybody else. Fumes leaked inside the car, right? I don't care if it was freezing. It was a blizzard. The windows had to stay down, right? My kids were like, hey, we're cold. I'm like, hey, shut up, put a blanket on, or we die. Your choice, right? I wanted a safe car. So let's say I want a car. What kind of car? Well, Darin, I would like to have a Lexus. What kind of Lexus? The LS500. What color exterior? White. What color interior? Black. What about the wheels? I want those chrome wheels. Do you have a picture of that? Right, everywhere. It's called the Reticular Activating System, the RAS for short. Let me know in the comments, for example, have you ever bought a car and you never noticed how many cars are on the road like the one you bought until you bought it, right? Were they there before? Yes. So it's a filter called the RAS for short that allows things in. Your brain is designed to keep most of the things out because it would drive us crazy. You're sitting in a coffee shop. If you paid attention to every noise and sound, it would drive you crazy. So you have to tell your brain what you want, and your brain wants to be right. Okay, what you look for, you see. What thou seest, thou beest. You have to see it in your head before you ever see it in reality. And what that does, for example, the car, where I remember years ago, Salt Life used a picture that we took in Florida. I'd never heard of Salt Life, true story. And I'm like, who is Salt Life? And that day when I looked at their page, I'm like, oh my gosh, this has been years ago. I'm like, they have hundreds of thousands of followers. Now it's millions. How have I never heard of it? I pulled out of the parking lot, and on the back of a Jeep was a Salt Life sticker. And then I saw somebody wearing a Salt Life hat. And I'm like, wow. So again, you have to tell your brain what you want. You have to be very specific when it comes to why you're building the business, because the desire, your motivation, your motive for action, that's what helps you stay strong enough, long enough, right? And for me, it was getting to that day of disgust, and I'm going to move pretty fast here because we got to get moving. It was that day of disgust when my dad passed away 10 years ago. when he was passing away, he was still saying someday we'll go do this, someday we'll go do that, and someday never came. And I learned that someday leads to a town called nowhere. But I also learned that some people's some days are other people's every days. So that day when I was bankrupt, repossessed car, and we had this big Coca-Cola plastic piggy bank, and we took and we told my daughter, someday we'll go to Disney World, someday. And she walks in the bedroom, and we got this big Coca-Cola plastic piggy bank on the floor. My wife and I are going through change to try to find enough to get food to eat. And my daughter walks in seeing me taking her money for Disney, runs out crying. And I remember looking up going, God, how could I get so low to where I'm taking my child's money for Disney World? And that was the day I said, I've had it. That was my day of disgust. I said, I will until. I went in my office and I put on my wall, I will until. I had a mentor of mine said, Darin, success is buried right underneath frustration. I go, I have to be close because I can't get any more frustrated than I am right now. So why are you building your business? Take some time and really think about that. Not the money. What could the money do for you and your family? Do you want to give to charity? Do you want to give more to your church? Do you want to eliminate credit card debt? See, I know what it's like to see my wife and kids pull in the driveway in a beat-up, tore-up, dangerous car because I couldn't afford to put them in a safe one. I know what it's like to want to feed your family healthy foods. It's expensive to eat healthy, isn't it? Right? Whole Foods should not be called Whole Foods. It should be called Whole Paycheck. I know what it's like to be in church. Your heart says give. You don't have it to give. I know what it's like to get spiritual with the ATM. Please, God, let me have at least $20 in the bank account. True story. I didn't have $20 in my bank account, so it wouldn't let me get any of the money out, and I just needed a couple dollars to gas to make it home, right? So I know what that's like. Dig deep, figure out why you're doing it, because then no one's going to stop you, no matter what it takes, right? We would die for the ones that we love and care about in a split second, but yet we're so worried about somebody telling us no, or I'm not interested. No one's ever hit me for offering them what I was doing. Right? And if you care about what you do, which I know you do, it's not a debate of whether your products work. They work. It's not a debate if you can go out and generate extra income with this company. It works. It's just a matter of how hard are you willing to work? Are you willing to go through the process? And don't get mad at the process, those challenging times. All right. Then last but not least, well, let me skip over a couple things for time's sake. And I'm going to go to two more things. The emotional roller coaster. How many of you want me to tell you exactly how the business is going to work? Okay, let me see in the chat real quick. Let me know if this is making sense. Any aha moments? Okay, let's be real. Here we go. You're going to get in, and at some point, it may be today, and maybe tonight, warning, you may not be able to sleep. You're going to be in the no sleep zone. You're going to be way up here. You're going to be jacked up, right? You're going to be like a chihuahua jacked up on Red Bull. Going, oh my gosh, the dream machine has been turned off for years. I didn't even know it worked anymore. Now the dust has fallen off of it. Maybe I don't have to work a job that I hate until I die. Maybe I will have the ability to be debt-free. Maybe I will be able to spend, time with my family. Maybe I will be able to travel the world, treat every day as if it's the last day of my life. And one day I'm going to be right, but I'm going to have fun as long as I can, help as many people as I possibly can. You're excited. Then you go share some information with people you know, love, and care about. And they say some stupid stuff. Right? And your excitement is here, but your knowledge is here. And you're like, oh man, maybe my negative friends and family are right. Maybe it's not going to work. People say things like this. How many of you have ever heard this? Oh man, you're not doing one of them things. Didn't you know? Those things don't work. Oh my gosh, they're a scam. If you hadn't heard it, you're going to hear it. And then what happens when you're in that self-doubt phase, by the way, if you have not felt like quitting, you have not been in the business long enough. Give it another day or two. It's coming. I promise you. And it's completely normal. That's like saying, okay, people that tell you that, that's like saying, oh my gosh, let's see, Alex, you go to the gym? Oh my God, didn't you hear gyms are scams? Do you know how many people I know that go to the gym that are out of shape? And you're going to laugh. And we're going to go, you know what? It's not gyms that don't work. It's people that don't work. So most people, they get in, they don't do anything. That's life and everything. Most people quit. That's life. That's everything. But the potential is there. And that's all I needed was the potential. So you're in that self-doubt zone. You went from, I'm so excited, I can't sleep, to self-doubt. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Then they message you back, right? And then Stacy goes, she says, for my best friend. Yeah, that's normally how it is because they're not willing to do what they need to do. And misery loves company. And when we start going to the next level, they remind us of who they were. See, when you get too low, by the way, Stacy, for example, they will go, hey, come back up here, Darin. I know you're bankrupt. I know you can't keep a job. I know you can't make it through college. It's okay. They pull you back up. But then when I started to think outside the box, going, man, I can have more, be more, do more. They started going, Darin, don't you remember who you are? You're bankrupt. You failed for years. You couldn't make it through college. You couldn't keep this. Everybody laughed at you. Your house looked abandoned because you couldn't even plant grass in your yard. That's the way it works. But it's okay. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Those same people later on, Stacy, will be the ones going, man, I knew Stacy when she first got started. I knew she could do it. She's my BFF. That's what happens. Vision is seeing it before the masses see it. Then you have someone call you back and they go, look, I'm in. I'm going to make you rich just off of what I do. You're back up. 2 weeks later, they're in the witness protection program. They're back down. It is an emotional roller coaster. Get ready. That's life. That's the same thing in this business, but it's okay, right? It's worth it. But when you're going through those down spurts, and I know some of you may say, Darin, get to the how-tos. We're going to get to that. But if you don't get this stuff right, if you don't have the right attitude, the right philosophy, you won't stay strong enough to make it to the how-tos. The how-tos are very simple. So why do some people do the how-tos and they're not very effective and other people are? It's because the mindset, the attitude, the philosophy, the filter we have between our ears. If you want to know how far you are away from your goals and your dreams, take 2 fingers and do this. And then do this, because this is how far you are away. Everything is right here. So it's an emotional roller coaster when you're going through those challenges. Make a decision. When my mentor said, Darin, you don't make what you want, you make what you are. You get paid based on the size of the problem that you can solve. Your paycheck is a direct reflection of the size of the paychecks that you can, your paycheck is a direct reflection of the problems you can solve. Don't wish it was easier. Jim Rohn says, wish you were better. When I bagged groceries in high school, easy problems, eggs and bread on top, heavy stuff on the bottom, even though I mess that up sometimes. When you start building a business, people go, Darin, you don't understand, man. People took my products. And I would tell them, hey, look, if my check is bigger than your check, I've just probably had more people take my products than you have. Oh, yeah, but I had a little launch party and only one person showed up. Well, try driving 3.5 hours back in the day like I did one way, and the person doing the party didn't show up, right? Not good. Well, I got a bunch of people on my team and nobody's doing anything. Well, the only difference in my check and your check back then, I'm like, I have more people doing nothing than you do. If you want some more people doing something, go get some more people doing nothing. We all go through it. There's no one that skips these steps. The longest distance to success is a shortcut. So when you're going through that, remember, that's the process. And I'm like, okay, I get paid based on the size of the problem I can solve. The bigger the challenge, the bigger the paycheck. I'm not just going to go through it. I want to grow through it. And by the way, I learned, it took me a long time, obstacles are your friends. Obstacles lead to elevation. Obstacles lead to elevation. If someone would have told me when I was bankrupt, car repossessed, couldn't feed my kids, depressed, went to the doctor for depression, if I didn't mention that one, put me on all these crazy meds back then, that was a great thing, I probably wouldn't have taken it. I would not have taken it too well. Looking back, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It forced me to change. It forced me to get better. It forced me to look at my associations. It forced me to grow and work on me every single day. So it is an emotional roller coaster. That's the way it works. Another thing that's going to happen is you're going to work really hard in the beginning, and you're going to look at your pay and you're going to go, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. Like, I'd be better off working minimum wage at McDonald's. But yeah, you can work a job and exchange time for money, but you'll never have the ability for your income to grow by multiplication. Here, you're the goal, you're going to work harder at first than you get paid, for sure. And then eventually, when those multipliers kick in, you have the ability to have assets that throwing off cash and you don't even know where it's coming from, right? Does that make sense? All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So now we're going to go into our guest speakers. And so let's start with, I got Tara and Lynsey. If you want to go ahead and turn on your camera, that would be awesome. And so for all of you that let me know if any of you got any aha moments. Any aha moments. And by the way, for the ones that are watching this that are leaders, the only difference when you make more money, it's bigger ups and some lower downs. But eventually, your low, okay, when you're doing this, will be bigger than your previous high. Okay, your low will be bigger than your previous highs. All right, good. Perfect. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about getting someone started the right way. Here's the beautiful thing about Green Compass. Okay, how do you get in? I'm in. How do you get out? I'm out. Can I get an amen on that one, right? It's not like the franchises that my wife and I owned, where we had to spend $400,000 on one and $300,000 on another. And we had a couple that was partners with us in the one in Knoxville, Tennessee, that were in their 60s and he was in his lower 70s, that lived in a hotel room for several years and worked from 7 in the morning until 11 at night because they had put a big part of all of their retirement into that, right? I mean, you're in it to win it. Quitting is not an option. But here we lead a voluntary army, which means that most people won't do it. And if someone gets in and they don't make any money, the retention in 6 months is about 20%. You have about 20% left. If they make $1, the retention goes to over 70% from the last numbers that I saw. So the goal is to get them a win as fast as possible. And by the way, is a win a dollar amount? Is a win a new customer, a new advocate? They are wins, but it's not the only win. See, here in Green Compass, we want you just pushing and thriving and striving and to get to the next level and stretching outside of your comfort zone. If you're doing the activity and you still hadn't gotten a customer, hadn't got an advocate, it doesn't matter. You're still winning because you're growing and you're getting a little bit better. Well, what if I fail? It takes, you know what? Every great advocate in this company was bad at one time. Do you agree? Right? But what they did was they failed forward. They failed forward. And if they got to where they are at a pretty fast pace, they failed fast. They failed forward fast. So we're going to go over, we've got Tara McCrary, and we've got Lynsey Petty, which are some of the top in the entire company. And when I go, hey, listen, I need to have some people that are on here with me because I'm not an advocate, I'm training, they're doing the do. Like they're out there in the field, they're helping people get started, and they're doing it the right way. And we want to share that with you. So we're going to be able to learn from their experience. I'm going to go back and forth with some Q&A. And so, by the way, hang on to the very end because you never know when it's that one thing that you needed to hear that unlocks the vault that takes you to a whole nother level. So, Tara, I guess we'll start with you. If you don't mind sharing with everybody, your name, your background, and how long you've been in the company, I think that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys. I'm Tara McCrary, and I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, the home of Green Compass. And so I actually got started right at the beginning, pre-launch actually. Heard about this company, didn't have much experience at all, just kind of as a nurse of many years, just kind of saw what CBD was doing, fell in love with the founders and the farmers before we ever had a product. We grew super fast before we had anything. We were just super excited to share. And so now I'm a master director, presidential founder, and have an amazing team. So love it.
Awesome. Great job. All right. And Lynsey, if you don't mind sharing your background, a little bit about you and your family.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Lynsey Petty. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in my car office because I tell everyone this is the only place that I can get any peace and quiet. But I have a 1-year-old. She just turned 1 2 days ago, named Vivi. I'm married. My husband is named Ryan. I came over from another company. I was also here on day one, launched on day one of Green Compass. I was not looking for anything. I had been involved with another company for 4 years, and I can totally relate to what Darin says when he's like, everyone starts of failing after failing after failing after failing, and you learn as you go. In my first company, I didn't get my first customer, not even business partner, customer, until 7 months in. I was so bad at this, but I was determined. I was not going to give up. And so I was there for 4 years, and kind of what Tara said, when Green Compass fell in my lap, it was not an opportunity that I felt like I could miss out on. So I jumped in, and I am a 2-star master director, presidential founder, where my team blows me away. I'm so thankful we're running for 3-star master this month, which is crazy, but all of us start at 0 with no customers and no advocates, and you are really bad and you learn as you go. So I could not get more behind that statement.
I love it. I love it. And so would both of you agree that, because for those that are listening going, oh man, I missed out being in the very beginning of the company. You are in the beginning of the company, but when they first launched, they didn't have a fraction of what you have now. So the good news, would you agree that Green Compass is in a lot better shape now than it was when you first started? Right?
Yes.
And
yes, I remember like with like we didn't have when I was trying to start talking about this initially, no one had ever made $1 with Green Compass yet, and now you have our year 1 under your belt. You have success stories to share, so for sure a better position right now to be getting started.
Yep, you got better systems, you got a better back office, you got better products, you got leaders that have been out there and failed a lot, doing the wrong things to finally learn what to do right, and so that's why we can shave a lot of time off our learning curve by just listening to YouTube. All right, so what we did is we got on the phone and I asked them, I go, hey, look, we have the launch system in the back office that we encourage all of you to go to. This is not in place of what you already have. This is actually supporting what you do have. But when I share with them, I'm like, okay, they get the welcome email, they have the launch system, they have the training videos. Let's get on here and let's just do something a little bit special. Let's talk about the basic building blocks of a business. And then I ask each of them, I'm like, okay, if you had to nail it down to 3 to 5 things for them to do starting today so we can crank over the weekend, what would those things do? And we come up with 5 different things. And so the first one, and I guess, Tara, if you don't mind, maybe you can talk about the welcome call, what you do in a welcome call.
So I think you guys seen in the launch system, this is imperative within the first, this is what we have been doing with our team, with the new advocates. Within the first 24 hours, I encourage 24 hours. You need to have your new person on a call with your director, your direct director or above person. And some of you guys are going to say, oh my goodness, my director's tapped out, or my this person or that person. You're going to reach out to that person and you are going to reach out and say, hopefully you're connected to them anyway, but you are going to find that person and you're going to get on a welcome call with them right away. And basically in the welcome call, you want to, your upline director and above is going to ask the questions of, why did this person get involved? What do they want out of this? What do they see? Like Darin said, you're going to want to go deeper than an extra source of income. That income could be their child. They don't want their child going to daycare every day. And, a mama's heartstrings. Like, you can go deeper with that person just in a few minutes, actually, just kind of take them there. And then the next question is really, what does success look like for you? And in asking that question, you are going to totally find out how fast or slow they really want to do this. And because that's what you're leading up to. So I would say the welcome call is director and above. You're going to have them on there, and you are going to introduce, if you haven't, I missed that part, but you want to make sure you edify your leader and tell them, who that person is. But yes, go right into why did they join? What does success look like? How fast or slow do they want to go? Because that's going to lead you to the next steps. Simply.
Awesome. Yeah. So she said a few things. Now, edify basically means just talking highly of that person. And guess what? They don't have to have a crazy story. It could be like, oh my gosh, hey, I'm working with this person. And man, Tara, she loves helping people. She's a lot of fun to work with. She's running for one of the top ranks in the company. She's helping lead the expansion. That's something that's extremely duplicatable, and it's true no matter who it is, right? I didn't have to say. Now, if you do know their story and you can mirror match it, that's great. Another thing that you said was finding out their why. I think that's really important because, again, that puts an emotional attachment to the income. And that way, when you could say something like, hey, look, in a few months when things get discouraging, right? Because they do, is it okay if I remind you of why you started? Mm-hmm. So you can use that why as well. So Lynsey, I'd love to hear your input on welcome calls, step number 1. And again, hope everybody's taking notes like I am. I would rather trust a short pencil than a long memory any day of the week. And you do not want to trust your fortune to your memory.
I agree with that, Tara. I think, meeting your new advocate where they're at. Some people are going to want to jump in. We want everyone to want what we want out of this. I wish everyone jumped in and said, I want to be a 3-star master. I want to hustle. I want to make this my full-time career. I would love that. But the reality is, not everyone is on the same page as you. Some people may join just for a car payment every month. Some people may join to chip off some student loan debt, or some people may join for a travel fund, or to put their kids in dance classes, or who knows. Everyone has their different reason, and people join this business because they want to be the CEO. They don't want to work for someone else. They want to work for themselves. So I think it's really, really important from the get-go, where's your head at? And I think, your why and your goals develop as you go. When I first joined network marketing 5.5 years ago, my goal was to pay for my car payment. I would have never imagined that it would turn into this. So it's definitely okay if somebody wants to start small. Meet them where they're at and work with them for their goals along the way. And their why can always develop, but you just be a resource for them, plug them in at the pace that they want to go, and you be the best leader that you can be for them.
I love that. And that reminds me, there was a mentor of mine. He's no longer in network marketing. He made over $80 million in this profession. And he gave me, and I remember him talking about these numbers. 80% of the people that join your business are overwhelmed and extremely happy with $500 a month or less. Only 15% are looking for like $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And then less than 5% actually join the business thinking that they want to make over $20,000, $25,000 a month and above. Doesn't mean, like Lynsey just said, they don't change categories. Like when you get in at night, if you're driving, here's a great visual. You can see with the lights on, maybe to the stop sign ahead of you, and that's it. Once you get to the stop sign, then you can see a little bit further. So you want to get them in. I love how she said you meet them where they're at. Everyone is tuned into their favorite radio station. Those that have been listening to the trainings, you know what it is. WIIFM. What's in it for me? So if I just asked Tara and Lynsey, hey, listen, well, what's most important to you in your life right now? And we have to remember, some people don't know when we say, why did you join? Sometimes you have to maybe explain a little bit more like what's most important to you in your life right now? And let them keep digging. Man, it's my kids. I'm sick and tired of, me leaving for work when it's dark, getting home when it's dark. I don't want daycare raising my kids. I want to raise my kids. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to be able to do this, that, whatever. Then when you find that out, then what you can do is you can ask them, hey, look, do you want to walk? Do you want to run? Or do you want to sprint? Let them tell you. Most people are probably going to say, hey, I want to run or I want to sprint. Then all you're doing at that point, they gave you permission to help them walk, run, or sprint. And you're just helping solve their problem, right? You get paid based on the size of the problem that you can solve. So I love the fact that you ask them where they are, what's most important to them, why did they join, how fast do they want to move, and then to match them energy for energy, right? You take a step, I'll take a step. I'll even take 2 steps, checkerboard management. You make a move, I'll make a move, but then to walk with the walkers, run with the runners, and sprint with the sprinters. Okay, so that was number 1, the welcome call. And again, these are simple things. And you may have gone, man, we haven't been doing welcome calls. It's okay. You can change all of that right now. If you have an organization that's not doing that, right? Can't change your life overnight, but you can change the direction of your life overnight. Can't change your business overnight, but you can change the direction of your business overnight. And so if you start creating the culture of, hey, listen, we love to welcome people. We know they're going to go out there and get some negativity because that's what the world is. You don't have to search out the negative. The negative searches you out. You have to search out the positive, right? And so we have a culture of welcoming people on, introducing them, and starting to inoculate them to know that they're in business for themselves, but not by themselves. Step number 2, it used to be this. It used to be, hey, welcome. I look forward to working with you. Let's set up a couple events over the next several weeks in person. Well, now we know things have changed. So the beautiful thing about it, more people are comfortable with technology than ever before. When someone gets in, their excitement is here, their knowledge is here. And if we don't get them a win under their belt, the longer we wait, the colder they get. So if Lynsey just said, look, I want to run, then what I'm going to do is step number 2 is, hey, well, great. Well, let's set up, a launch. You can title it however you want to. Launch Zoom, launch party, whatever it may be. It can be virtually. And I used to tell people, and y'all can tell me if you agree with this, who are the 10 sharpest people that you know? But then I learned that we're practicing on the sharpest people that they know when they're really nervous. And I want to get a win under their belt. So instead I go, Tara and Lynsey, hey, who are the top 10 easiest people, right? This is my grandma. No matter what I got into all those years, the very first person I went to, I was a grandma's boy. I tear up even thinking about it. Hey, grandma, guess what? She goes, go give me my checkbook, honey. She didn't even know what it was. We would laugh. She would have a whole corner of stuff, but I got a win under my belt. People ask me, what was my biggest paycheck? They know I made a lot of money. I go, it was the first one. It was the first paycheck, right? That's your belief check. So you set up a launch Zoom in the first 24 to 72 hours. Set up a launch Zoom in the first 24 to 72 hours. And I'll let you go first. Anything that you want to say about the launch Zoom or getting them off to a fast start with some type of party? Now, if they can do it in person, that's great too. We're not saying don't do it in person, but a lot of people are very sensitive about being around other people right now. Take the least path of resistance. You could even do one of each, but any tips on that?
Yeah, we're actually encouraging, this is what's really working for us, is we're encouraging if you, if you can do an in-person, between, 2 to 5 people, something just to get started in your home. I'm encouraging that, but I'm also encouraging, we're doing more than one event at the time. We're always scheduling more than one. So whatever that looks like for you. So if it's an in-person and a virtual launch, that's what I'm encouraging people to do. But what I want to do is take all the work out of this for the new advocate. And basically, I would set up the Zoom. I would do all this. I would just say, who are your first 2 to 5 people that you would just like Darin said, support you no matter what. We want these to be your people, like your family, your friends, which I say that lightly. We never know what our family's going to do. But who are the people that are going to, like, you can't live without? And your best friend, who do you want to take on incentive trips? Who do you want to be with you every step of the way? That's going to encourage you and just support you regardless. Those are the people we want on the first couple of events. And always have a second one scheduled, because they're going to say they can't make this one. You're going to have another one for them to come to. But that's, and I'm encouraging small ones, because even if you have to do more of these, I feel like the personal connection is great. I feel like if we get 20 to 40 people, on a Zoom, I just feel like it's kind of a lot. So I would recommend doing multiple instead of just a one really big one. So that's kind of what we're doing, and we're finding that's working for us.
Awesome. Yeah, and I agree. There's people in your life. All of us have these people I can call up, and let's say Tara and I are BFFs, and I go, Tara, listen, I need you. I need your support. I need your help. I need you to get your wallet. I need you to try this product for 30 days. If you don't like it, you can get your money back, and I'll never ask you to buy it again, right? This is what you're doing, Tara. I want you to do this and just buy it, right? So we all have those friends where you could get to support you, experience the products, that type of thing. Another thing that I just thought about when inviting to a Zoom, a lot of times I used to like to do this as well. Hey, Tara, what are you doing at noon today? Well, I don't know. Not really. Great. I need you to be on a Zoom for me, right? Before I tell them what it is, I go, what are you doing at this time? So they already tell me that they're free. I just need 15, 20 minutes out of your life. That's it. I would do it for you, and I want you to do it for me. All right. So great tips, by the way. All right, Lynsey, anything you want to add on the launch, get them off to a fast start? Number 2.
Yeah, I think that's really good for the new advocates training as well. And that's how they can approach it too, is to like, hey, will you hop on this Zoom? It's going to help me kind of hear how my upline talks about the business. I'm going to sit back and take some notes. So maybe they aren't so pressured to, oh my gosh, I've got to go buy something. But if they come with an open mind, like, okay, I love Lynsey, I'm going to help her with her training. I'm going to listen to this Zoom. I'll ask a few questions to kind of hear, so Lynsey can kind of learn how questions are asked, how objections are overcome. I tell everyone, bring the hard questions, bring them to me. Your upline is going to be the one answering them anyways. And so a lot of times by the end of it, people kind of put their wall down a little bit because they're like, oh, okay, I'm not being pressure to join anything or buy anything. I'm here to support Lynsey, although I'm going to buy something anyways because I love her. But they come in a little bit more open-minded and ask. If you tell them, ask the hard questions, like this is for training, and then they're honest. They get their real objections out there. I can't tell you how many times I preface it with that, like, thanks for hopping on, you guys. This is for Tara's training. People ask like, well, I think this is a pyramid scheme. Well, I think this is that. I'm like, thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. And I can truly overcome their real objections. And by the end of it, they're like, well, can you send me a little bit more information? I might be interested in getting involved with this. But they initially just jumped on to support the newbie. So I think the small group things, yes, we always have Zooms going on. Yes, corporate does that. You can plug everyone into those too. But it kind of makes you step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And that's what this business is all about. Step out of your comfort zone. If you're willing to do that and willing to be coachable and schedule this Zoom within the first 2 or 3 days of being on, you're on the right path. You're going to get off to a really fast start.
That's awesome. Yes, great tips. Yeah, so for example, there's people that you can say, hey, look, I just need you to support me and buy this. Then there's people where you invite going, hey, Lynsey, listen, I really need your help and support. I'm running for a promotion. Part of my training is to get people in this short little 15, 20-minute Zoom. You don't have to buy anything or do anything except just show up and hear more about what I'm doing. So think about this for all of you. Let me know if this is making sense in the comments. If you and I go together, any of you in the comments, and we open a $400,000 frozen yogurt franchise, do we want everyone that you and I know within driving distance to know about it, even if they hate yogurt? Yes, we really don't care if they like yogurt. They're going to know people that do like yogurt. And so your goal is to take them from not knowing to knowing. It's really simple. So I'm just going, hey, listen, I need your help. I'm running for a promotion because all of you are running for a promotion. I would really appreciate your support. I know I would do it for you, and I'm hoping you'll do it for me. Okay, so that's great. And then there's also the people that you've talked to that go, hey, look, I'm not sure if you're open to making some additional income on a part-time, spare-time basis. But there's no one better to share that with you than a friend of mine. It's a private invitation. It's only going to be a few of us on this Zoom. You can do it that way. Okay. There are people that are open to the products. Hey, listen, I found some products that have changed my world and helped my family. I don't know if what I'm doing is for you or not. However, I've got a private Zoom and hey, look, I need your help. I don't want to look bad. I'm helping to put it on. I can't believe I've got this Lynsey friend of mine that's one of the top of the company going to be on there, like helping lead the expansion. She loves helping people. She's really busy. Can you jump on? And for those of you that are doing the Zoom, if you're not where Lynsey is at this point where you can answer a bunch of questions, you could do something like this. Here's just another example. So if I'm new, right, or I don't feel comfortable answering too many questions, what I could do is something like this. So let's say I'm doing it for Lynsey. She introduces her friends, 5 or 10 people on the Zoom, and they go, hey, everybody, I'm excited to have Darin here, and he's helping lead the expansion. He loves helping people. He's a lot of fun to work with, whatever. And then she turns it over to me. Here's basically what I'm going to say. Hey, listen, I want to thank all of you for jumping on. I know it means a lot to Lynsey because when I said, Lynsey, who are the people you love and care about and respect the most? You're the ones that she thought of, right? So some of you are on here. You have no interest at all. You're just here to support her. How awesome is that? It's okay. I know she appreciates it. There's some of you that have heard about the awesome products that we offer and what they can do for the health benefits. I'm going to talk about that real quickly. Then there's some of you that are looking for the ability to generate some additional income on a part-time, spare-time basis. I'm going to hit that. So when I go through it over 10 or 15 minutes, and at the end I go, hey, well, listen, we appreciate you jumping on. And what I would do, if you can get back with Lynsey, she's going to be getting in touch with you as well. Let her know what caught your attention the most, products, business, or a little bit of both. I mean, how cool is that? It's very simple. And again, you all know that. Your leaders know that even better than I do because they're actually doing it with your company. Step 1, welcome call. Step 2, let me know if y'all are digging the simple steps. Okay, let me know if you're digging the simple steps. Number three. All right, so let's go. Lynsey, I'm going to get you to start with this one because I know you and I had a pretty in-depth talk about this morning. one social media post within your first 24 hours. And here's what I would ask of all of you. Let me know, please, in the comments, if you're willing. I don't care if you've been in the business for a year. How many of you are willing to act like a brand new advocate and start completely over? And with the new advocates, we want to do it with you. We want to support you, right? So I want all of you committing to, if you hadn't done a welcome call or doing one, you could do one with someone, set up your launch Zoom with 5 to 10 new people or however many you want to put on there in the next 24 hours. The next step is a social media post. Within the first 24 hours, we want every single one of you to do one social media post, like preferably today, because we want to check out your post. So Lynsey, what do you recommend? Because I've seen you do some phenomenal social media posts. What do you recommend to include, and how do you help someone figure out what to actually post?
I'm so big on social media. I think that has honestly been the number one contribution to my fast growth in the company. And I'm not talking about turning into like a social media robot sales ad. Here's my link, 20% off, like that whole kind of thing. Be genuine, be transparent. Your network, yes, you will have your warm market, like we were talking about, the first people that you invite on your Zoom, the ones who would buy anything from you and just love you so much and want to support you. But after that, you want more people. You have big goals in this. You want to go fast. You're going to have to get further out of just your close friends and family and people who love and support you. So you want to be relatable to people. In your posts, you want people to look at you, look at that post and say, if she can do this, I can do this. If she is partnering with this company for these reasons, maybe I want to do this too. Or if she is doing this and she decided to link ours with this company for this, this, and this reason, that's pretty cool. I can relate to that. A post of a product model and I just joined Green Compass, here's my link, go check it out. That isn't going to do anything for anybody except for they put up a wall. People hate being sold to on social media. They may be interested in CBD. They may be intrigued by the whole thing. They may be looking for another stream of income. But if they get the vibe that you're just in it for you, you just want them to buy something from you, you just want them to join your team for your own benefit, it's going to be a long road. So the more genuine and transparent and open and honest that you can be and building trust with your network, the better. 100% hands down, people are watching. If maybe they don't like or comment right away, I've had people come to me 6 months later and say, I mean, maybe several of you on this call right now say, I've been watching you for the past 8 months. Like, wait a minute, you've never liked or commented or reached out about anything. People are watching. So your very first post, your very first announcement post, really ask yourself, why did I join Green Compass? Really, was it the products that interested me, that caught my interest? Did I already have great experience with CBD? Was I looking for a good CBD brand that I could trust and tie my name to? Was it the number side? For me, I had never used CBD before jumping on with this. It was the business opportunity that attracted me. It was the numbers. It was the industry growth. It was a ground level company partnering, helping a company launch. And again, we're still very, very much in the ground level stages. So ask yourself, there's no right or wrong answer. Why did you join? Write it down. What do you love most? If you've never tried the products, that's okay. Maybe you are so excited about trying the products. Tell your network. Be honest. I have seen so many great results with people using CBD for this, this, and that. I can totally relate to it. I'm excited to get my kit in. I'm so excited. Share your genuine, real journey. Don't join day one and say, I love these products so much, and you've never used them. People are watching. People want to follow your journey. So why did you join Green Compass? What initially intrigued you? What do you like most? What are you most excited about? And what do you hope this opportunity does for you and your family? Maybe it's, like I said, vacation fund. Maybe it's pay off debt. Maybe it's you really, really want, for me, my why, I want more than anything just to be able to put my family first and be a present parent and not to miss Vivi's first. I didn't miss her first crawling or her first rolling. I'm not going to miss her first steps. I'm going to make sure she is in any ballet class or tennis lessons or anything that she wants to do. I'm going to be at every single practice. I'm going to be at every single game because I'm not going to have a boss telling me that I can't do it. I'm going to do that. And my why, I'm going to share that with everybody. When I shared my announcement, that is what I shared. I don't want to miss those moments. How many moms out there do you think could relate to that? Like, dang, that sounds cool. I hadn't made it happen yet. I shared it. that I was going to make that happen. And now they get to watch my journey of it happening. I'm going to share the journey along the way of me making my dreams come true. And Green Compass doesn't have to be the end all be all, everything that I'm so passionate about. It is the vehicle. I'm becoming more and more passionate the more people I get to help. But day one, I was passionate about Green Compass being the vehicle that was going to get me to my why. And that's what I want to share. So I encourage you to really, really dig deep, get transparent with your network. The cold market people are going to support you for that because they can relate to it. They respect you for being honest. I guarantee you, people just share the highlight reel a lot of times on social media. So people will support you and comment and like and want to cheer you on, if nothing else, if you are willing to just be a little bit vulnerable, and they're going to watch you. They're going to watch your journey. Sorry, I got all fired up and excited. I know that was kind of off topic.
Next time, can you please show some passion, if you don't mind? How many people can feel Lynsey's passion, right? And that's posture. I mean, to me, when she was talking like that, it reminded me, whenever they say, listen, if you ever see a mama and bear cubs, what do you not do? You do not get in the middle of a mama and their bear cubs, or you will get destroyed. I will guarantee you, if you get in between Lynsey and little Vivi and their goals, their dreams, right, you're going to get destroyed. Her why is crystal clear, which is fueling everything. So to me, here's what you want to do. You want to put this in your notes. You want to be hot. You want to be hot. And those that are looking at me going, Darin, you're not hot. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about that. Honest, open, and transparent. She talked about real, authentic. The top 10 TV shows, most of them are real reality TV shows. So when you're posting, remember, prospecting is you reaching out. If you only wait for people to reach out to you through social media, it's going to be very difficult. If you're doing that, the social media is almost like the special sauce. It's the sauce you drizzle on top of everything else. Prospecting, you're reaching out. Attraction marketing is when you're doing things online to attract people. You're creating curiosity that makes them want to go, Lynsey, what the heck are you doing, right? So a curiosity would supposed to be like me showing a bottle of Green Compass, one of the products, holding my name. I don't like to post the name of the company. Personally, I did both. For me, it wasn't as effective because they would Google the name of the company. Then I didn't know they were interested. But if I covered up the name of the company and I go, oh my gosh, I slept like a baby. Finally, I found something. And that's it. It could be that simple. And then you have people going, what the heck is that? Because like Lynsey said, I'm not trying to sell you. But then when they mess me, hey, I'll hit you in the DM. I'll DM you. Hey, check this video out. Here's what it is. So I'm creating curiosity. Then I know they're looking. I control the message. Google, Mr. and Mrs. Google does not control the message. So create a curiosity post. And remember, this is very important when you're doing your post. Don't worry if you screw it up. Guess what? You can post a lot. Like you're going to be bad before you're good. People buy what it does, not what it is. Ask yourself, so what? Hey, here's some CBD. So what? What does it do? They buy benefits, not features. Well, here's what it does. It helps with this, 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 this. The benefits are this, this, this. I work from home. So what? Like Lynsey said, I'm not missing those special moments with my child. My goal is to be able to do this, this, and this. So those are great tips on curiosity post. And remember, we want you to do one today, one in the next 24 hours. All right, Tara, any tips on the curiosity post, your social media post?
Well, that's exactly what I encourage my people to do, is exactly what you just said too. I mean, that's a great to not, we found better success not mentioning the company, not putting necessarily our entire kit box out there, you know, with the Green Compass name, but really just sharing, you know, either like what Lynsey said about the business, the personal, relatable part, or, you know, that is actually my go-to is I had the best sleep in my life last night. Better mom day ahead, you know, something like that, just something that's relatable. And I mean, all day long, less is best. Throw it out there and see what you get back. You will be amazed.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So that was number 3. Now we're going to go to number 4, add 10 to 20 people to the ATM page in your first 24 hours. What we're doing, we're helping give them a little nudge, right? You're going to teach them how to add them to the ATM page. And what is the ATM page all about? Well, what it is, you're just adding them to a group where there's testimonials. We know that it takes multiple exposures. You're taking them from not knowing to knowing. You're able to add them to the group, tag them in a video, message them, and follow up. So we'll go ahead. Tara, any tips on adding people to the ATM group?
Well, what I love about the ATM groups is, you know, you're adding people. Somebody might reach out. I did this July 4th. Of course, we all posted our pet product or, you know, information about, you know, this puppy is going to be so chill and so excited come July 4th because they're not going to be nervous, panicked, whatever. I got so many responses from that. And actually what people reach out and they're like, does this really work? You know, and I just say, well, it worked for ours. You know, our sweet girl, but I actually have this page full of testimonials with pets. You know, you might want to check it out. So that's kind of how I tee that up for my people. And of course, they're already teed up, ready. They want more information. And so it's not like you're spamming these people, like you're just adding people to this group. They've reached out. I'm going to add them. I'm going to tell them to accept the invites. They get the information. And I'm going to tag them in one of the pet posts, you know, that they might want to check out. What's cool about the product hub and the business hub is you're sending someone there for the pet product. Guys, these people have no idea that we have skincare, that it works for this and it works for that and it works for the other. Guys, we are opening a whole nother, you know, opportunity to share with people. They're going to think, oh my goodness, my grandmother struggles with chronic discomfort or back discomfort or this and that and the other. It's amazing what people have reached back out for when they see CBD works for all these other things. They love it. And the business hub, to me, is the same way. You know, people love to see what's real life and what people are doing and sharing. So we're using that, and you want to know who your people are. You know, when you're in the business hub, you know, what is this person looking for? You know, you have the 4 color personalities, and that's a great book, by the way, if you want to check it out. But, you know, if someone's hungry for, you know, they just want to make money as fast as they can, you're going to send them to maybe the business post of, you know, and it's a businessman, so to speak. Maybe you'll send them to Link's post or, you know, different people that, or Rick, you know, that have owned businesses, you know, stuff like that. So you kind of make it relatable to the person. You know, the story, Meredith's story, Green Compass story is in there. So to the mama's heart, that's the one that they love the most. So kind of think about that when you're tagging them. But that's how it works for us, for me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, story sell, facts tell. So you're mirror and matching them to people that you think they would relate to based off of their interest. So imagine everyone, if every one of you, whether you're brand new or an existing advocate, if you added 10 to 20 new people into the group in the next 24 hours, right? I mean, we move the needle. So you want to think about what are the things that get me to my goals a lot sooner than later. It's getting people, taking them from not knowing to knowing about the Green Compass products, taking them from not knowing to knowing about the business opportunity. And that's a great way to do that. So Lynsey, any tips on the ATM pages?
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, I love the ATM pages. Like Tara said, I add people to some of them, especially the product ones, for one reason, and then they're like scrolling around. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know it also helps with this, this, and this. I read all of these other people who are using it for these reasons, and then they end up, you know, being interested in multiple products. And then I see that as a perfect opportunity to say, well, you know, you can get the business kit and share it with your friends as well, so you can kind of, you know, my ultimate goal, like I want to link arms with more people. I have big goals with this. I want to bring more people on, and if this is something that could benefit them on the business side as well as the product side, it kind of helps open up that conversation too. And then, you know, the business hub is amazing. They can see different people from different walks of life and how they're doing the business alongside of their you know, careers and family lives. And Tara may have already said a lot of this. I got kicked off for a minute, so I'm sorry.
Hey, no worries, no worries. And where can they get the script, by the way, for the ATM? Is that in the resources?
Yeah, the script is actually in the back office. That we've actually put at the very top the launch system. So there's the new advocate launch system and then the leader system. And actually that is actually in there. Exactly the verbiage to invite people to those groups.
Awesome. So you can go to the new launch system, check under the documents, and you will see the ATM scripts for that. All right. And last but not least, we're going to go to number 5, which is using 3-way calls or 3-way chats. Okay, so again, this takes all the pressure off of you. So the, and by the way, Sandy said, explain where the ATM pages are. Do you want to tell them that one real quick? Any one of you?
Sure, you'll find the ATM pages are located on Facebook. It is actually a Facebook group. If you have not been invited by your upline, make sure you find those. One is called the Green Compass Product Hub, and the other one is called the Green Compass Business Hub. So you definitely want to be using both of those.
All right, great. Yes, and so you can go to your upline, and they will invite you to that to make sure you know exactly where it is. So remember, everything that we do, it takes a genius to keep it simple. And when you're sharing information with a prospect, always remember this. They're looking at you going, can I do what you do? Do I want to do what you do? Do I have time to do what you do? And do I want to do to my friends, family, and neighbors what you just did to me? That's why we keep everything so simple. If you don't know an answer, that's okay. Learn all I know is. I can tag you in a video that does a better job than I do. Well, what about the science? All I know is I can point you to this video that explains the science. What about this? All I know is I can connect you with someone I'm working with, right? Because your prospect doesn't know what upline means. That's inside language. I can connect you with one of the top leaders in the company. They'd be happy to answer that for you. So number 5 is a 3-way call or a 3-way chat. So Lynsey, I'd like you to kick off what you do with 3-way calls and 3-way chats with your organization. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think 3-way chat's kind of the same thing as the Zoom in the beginning. It's amazing for you and your training. A lot of times Zooms overwhelm people. So if someone has expressed any interest at all in the business side or, sorry, my ear started going crazy, in the business side or the product side of Green Compass.
Gosh, hang on one sec, guys. Sorry. Can y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I lead them, like, you're not expected as a new advocate to know anything at all. I mean, like you said, we have the tools, and three-way call is one of the best tools that you can use, because your upline does the work for you. Your only job with the 3-way call is to say, hey, so-and-so, I wanted to introduce you to my friend Lynsey. She has been with the company since the launch phase, and she is just a wealth of knowledge with this. I wanted you to be able to pick her brain a little bit, and so she can give you the rundown. You can answer her questions and kind of get more of a perspective than just mine, and make it sound not like Darin said, 3-way call with my upline. That sounds terrifying. I don't know if I would do that, or my sponsor or anything like that, but like, yeah, I just want to introduce you to someone else. And then your job would be introduce them on the phone and just mute yourself, get out a piece of paper and take some notes. And the more times you hear someone doing a 3-way call, you're going to get more comfortable, and you're going to be able to duplicate this down to your team. You are eventually going to be the leader on these calls, doing them for your team. So listen how your leader talks about it, how they go through their story, how they go through the business. Listen to some of the questions and some of the objections that the prospect has, how the leader overcomes those objections, and you're going to get so much more comfortable. And I always end my 3-way call by saying, like, okay, from a 1 to 10, how interested are you, or do you just think we're like a bunch of crazy people? And everyone just like gets a giggle out of it. We laugh, and then they're like, no, I definitely don't think you're crazy. I mean, I'm like a 7, 8, like, okay, what's holding you up then? 7 or 8, like, obviously this sounds like something you really want to do. So what's holding you up? And then you'll get that last objection, like, I'm scared I won't do well, or I'm scared I'll fail, or whatever it may be. If they're like, I don't know, after hearing all this, a 1 or a 2, then you can be like, okay, well, what about the products? I would love to, maybe you can try some products, get more comfortable. If you have a great experience with the products, maybe we can have another business chat. So either way, that's the first thing that I tell my team to do. Bring me 3-way calls. Anyone who's interested in anything, you don't have to know the answers because I know them. So let me help you.
I love it. So that's the next part of duplication. You know, all I know is, and then all I do is. So in other words, if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just not really, I don't know if I could be able to do this. And I'm like, hey, well, all I do is, by the way, is get people to do what I just did with you. I got you to watch a video. I tagged you in a video, right? You had another question. I tagged you in another video. Then I put you on the phone with I introduced you to Lynsey. She answered your questions. Can you do that? And they should be able to say, man, my child can do that, right? It was demonstratable, which makes it duplicatable. So all I do is, it's okay to say, hey, I'm so new. All I know is this video does a better job than I do. All I know is I took it and I slept better. All I know is, boom. Okay, so that makes sense. Tara, any tips, final tips on three-way calls, three-way chat?
I love three-way chats because and I have my people always introduce me, or this is the thing, you cannot introduce somebody as, I have a super cool upline, like they said, do not do that. Like you have to use my good friend Tara or this person or that person, like has just been doing this longer. And the cool thing is once you get connected on there, like when we're hanging up with that person and they're ready to join the business, I'm like, you just saw what we did. They're learning as we enroll them, what our system is, and immediately they're going to be able to get into that rhythm. And, I just think it's super important to get on. And like Lynsey said, you're going to get on and introduce your advocate to the person. You're going to edify, this is why I love, Tara's been with the company, yada, yada. You may have already done that. But then you literally are going to be quiet and you are not going to speak unless asked a question. And you just it's third-party validation. It works. Don't change the system. And no, I absolutely love those calls.
All right. Yes. And so what I would recommend is everybody do at least one three-way call or three-way chat in the next 24 hours. At least one, just one. So let's recap real quick. Any last comments, ladies, before I wrap it up?
I just think, this is the thing, even the welcome call outline is in your back office. Like exactly what we said you were going to say is there, guys. Don't reinvent this. Don't make it hard. And just jump right in. I mean, you are going to earn. We want our people to earn as they learn, just like that. And so if we can get them doing these steps super fast, guys, you're golden. And, I'm just super excited about all the new system and just what we're doing here.
Awesome. Yes. It's all in the back office under the launch system. Thank you for reminding us of that. Lynsey, any last comments?
Dream big, you guys. Dream really, really, really big. I just got goosebumps saying that because the sky's the limit with this, and you are seriously coming in at the perfect time. And there are going to be people on this call who in 2 years, their life is going to look totally different because of Green Compass. And there are going to be other people who are just like, I didn't want to put in the work. I didn't want to do the process. I listened to the training calls, but I didn't put that into action. Like, do it, dig deep, really, really, really deep, and get that why. And you're not going to let yourself give up. Be tied to the process and not the outcome. It doesn't matter when you get that customer or when you get that business partner. That's up to them. Don't be tied to that. It'll be an emotional roller coaster if you are tied to what somebody else says. Who cares? You keep doing your process. You keep doing the activity that Darin is teaching us to do, and you're going to win. It may be next week. It may be a year. Stick to it. Dream big. This company can truly, truly, truly change your life. And I got goosebumps again. Okay, I'm done.
I love it. You're right. Stick and stay, and eventually you'll get your pay if you're willing to put in the work. So thank you so much for both of you. Amazing job. Great tips. So many golden nuggets. And so let's just recap real quick and I'll close it out. Number 1, welcome call. Number 2, and in the welcome call, you find out their why, and then you ask them how fast do they want to move? Do they want to walk? Do they want to run? Do they want to sprint? Then you know to match them energy for energy. Number 2, set up a launch Zoom in the first 24 to 72 hours. And what you will find, the quicker you get them a little win under their belt, next thing you know, they're going to go, man, that was effective. That was really simple. Man, let's do another one. And then number 3, social media post, 1 in the first 24 hours. Number 4, add 10 to 20 people to the ATM page. Number 5, you can use 3-way calls and 3-way chats to follow up. So everyone, one of my favorite quotes that I heard was Helen Keller when she said, sight is a function of the eyes. No, I'm sorry. Vision is seen it before the masses see it. They asked Helen Keller, what's worse than being blind? She said, having sight with no vision. And the late Dr. Miles Monroe said, sight is a function of the eyes. Vision is a function of the heart. What is the vision for you and your family over the next, let's just focus on the rest of this year, right? Let's go out, let's do the right activities. Let's put in the energy and the effort, and let's give it all that we have. Your business for yourself, but not by yourself. And other people, they can wait for their ship to come in. That's okay. We're going to swim out to it, right? Where successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. But let's go out there, let's get you started. And even if you've been in the business a year, you've done nothing. The great thing about this business, you can restart at any point. So whether you're just launching your business or you're relaunching your business, you can now go out and create your next 30, 60, 90-day story. So have an amazing weekend. Can't wait to hear about all the exciting things that you're doing over the weekend. Thanks again, Tara and Lynsey, for jumping on. And for all of you, have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks so much.